Hi there, my name is Alex Sherminov, and today you are watching Political Outline. Now, it doesn't really need to be said that 2020 is an interesting year. Whether you're talking about COVID-19 or rising political aggravation within the United States, it's a very interesting time and it's a very stressful time. Now, I'm not going to be talking today about COVID-19. I am not a healthcare professional, and I don't claim to be one. I'm also not going to be talking strictly about politics today. Today, I'd like to talk about the concept of fear and irrationality. Now, fear and irrationality are very interesting concepts, and they really go hand to hand. As people, we have spent thousands upon thousands of years considering what it is to be human, considering what logic is, and considering what rationality is. We have spent many generations considering these topics, and honestly, today we have a very good grasp of what rationality is and what logic is. However, simply because we understand these topics does not mean that we as a people are more rational than we were. We are not more logical than we've ever been, and honestly, we aren't more fact-driven than we've ever been. Humans today are, as humans have always been, we're very emotional creatures. Typically, we seem to make decisions based on how the situation around us makes us feel. If we're happy, we tend to go and make decisions that continue to make us happy. If we're sad, we typically make decisions that are going to make us not sad. And as a people, that generally can lead to some very poor decision making. It doesn't need to be said that your decisions just don't affect you. They affect everyone around you. They don't just affect your family. They don't just affect your community. To be honest, they could have impact and effect on the world. Now, that's a statement that has been made many times. And what my point here isn't to say something that has been said a bunch of times, but it's really to call for some consideration of that statement. Now, it is very easy to kind of go about the mentality that, oh yeah, people say that your decisions have greater impact than they seem, but it doesn't feel like that. Well, throughout history, some of the greatest achievements ever made were by normal people. Generally speaking, great people are not just the people who make great achievements. Normal people make great achievements. The Wright brothers in the early 1900s, they were normal people. They didn't come from wealth. They didn't come from prosperity. They were normal people who decided that they were going to investigate a concept of flight. And through that investigation, they made discoveries and they made principles that have been used for generations beyond them. Now, in that moment, I don't think that they were considering what is this going to mean for everyone. For them, this came from an investigative personality. They wanted to find something out. They went out and found it out. And that happened to have a huge impact on society as a whole. Now, I think that's a very interesting concept to consider. Small actions that don't seem like they could have great impact could have the biggest impact in the world. And one of the easiest examples of this is voting. When you go out, you're making a decision to support a politician who has an idea, who has beliefs, and you're investing your vote in those politicians, believing that they are going to do something that has a great impact on your nation. And considering the diversity between political parties in the United States, that decision has a lot of impact. If you're voting for a Democrat, voting for a Republican, or voting for an independent, the differences between those parties' ideologies is huge. And as a people, we have a lot of power in that. Now, you might say after that the entire electoral system is rigged and it's not really genuine and it's not really real and it's not really getting us anywhere. And that's not really what I want to discuss. I want to discuss the fact that when people are scared, they make decisions that they think are going to get them out of fear. And as a people, we have to realize that that's going to be manipulated. Just as we've had generations upon generations, thousands of years of self-consideration, and we know what rationality is, and we know what logic is, we also know how to control people. And as a generation and as a people today, we are being exploited every moment of the day. Whether or not it's a company that makes it seem like actually they have rivalries with other companies that you're supposed to get some kind of a sense of, I'm going to support them over them, and to come out and find that actually it's just all one company, or it's actually using your emotional beliefs and your emotional state to manipulating you into making decisions that are going to have profound impacts on the world today. As a people, we are not in complete control. And that concept of emotion over logic, actually, it really dictates the world around us. And the fact of the matter is, when people are able to use knowledge, use the concept of human understanding to manipulate us, they're able to control anything they want. And when you have an irrational person using rational measures to control the masses, you can get a really illogical and irrational response that's only supporting the irrational person to begin with. A lot of the decisions we make from that fear base, that concept of the unknown and the concept of what we don't understand, lead to making decisions that are actually going to hurt not only maybe your own self in the end, but really hurt everyone around you. It's a really scary thought. Now, I don't want to really sit here and try to tell you how to live your life. We live in a system and we live in a country where we're able to make our own decisions, and that is a great thing. It's great to know that we are able to be independent thinkers, make decisions that are not necessarily the same decision that everyone else is going to make, and act in a way that not everyone is going to act. That is a true expression and a true reality of freedom. It's something that cannot be overstated. But you have to also consider the fact that maybe a decision you are making in a moment is going to have a negative effect on people that you cannot even begin to know that are going to be after you. If people as a whole just took the concept of thinking things a little bit rationally before they allow that emotion to kind of suppress their concept of rationality, we would be in a lot stronger of a place than we are today. We would be a much more united country, and honestly, we would be handling the COVID-19 pandemic a lot better than we are. The issue is, no matter what opinions you have on the matter, people are scared. And in a time of fear, in a time of general pandemonium where we do not know what's going to happen next, it's easy to kind of let that fear dictate our actions. And at that moment, we're going to try to make any decision we can to make us not be in a state of fear. Right now, we are tasked with a lot of important decisions. We are given the opportunity to voice our opinions and voice our beliefs in a way that we haven't before. The decisions that we make today are truly going to have an impact on how the world is in the future. The way we handle this COVID-19 today has a huge impact. If people just started a little bit more thinking about how their actions affect everyone around them, how their actions might spark fear and might spark bravery, we would be getting through this pandemic today a lot better and a lot stronger than we currently are. And that's something to truly consider. Your actions do not just affect yourself. If I want you to get anything out of the video today, I want you to understand that your actions today may just affect people for generations to come. That is a really sobering concept for me. I think it's incredibly sobering when you combine that fact with the concept of human irrationality. See, when you consider the fact that your decisions and your kind of opinions could have long-standing effect on everyone around you, you have to at that point realize that your own sense of irrationality and your own sense of emotional decision making could actually have a huge and negative impact on everyone around you. For me, that's incredibly sobering. To know that my decisions and what I choose to do in the future could affect people who aren't even able to make decisions for their own yet is terrifying. It's a concept that really kind of digs at your soul. You know that you can make a change. We can all make a change, whether it's through voting or choosing to go out for a rally or a petition. We know that we can make a change as a people. So I would really ask you to not necessarily change your entire concept of thinking, though I think that would be helpful, but to reframe the way you look at a situation. Yes, a situation can really hit you in a bad spot. It can make you sad, depressed, happy, or joyful. It can hit you in a variety of different ways that can make you act in a manner that hurts everyone around you. It might not seem like it hurts you in the moment. It might not seem like it hurts people in the next 10 years or the next 20 years, but really, it could lead to the pain and suffering of people for generations to come. It's something to consider. As a people in the United States, we have a vested power. Our ability to go out and vote, our ability to have free speech is critical. It allows us to stand up for what's right and choose justice over failure and justice over corruption. We're given an opportunity to do what's right, and as an emotional people, it's not always easy to do what's right, because doing what's right and doing what's rational and logical does not always feel good. It does not always make you feel emotionally positive, and in a situation, doing what's rational could really hurt you. And as a society, we have to realize that because our decisions affect everyone around us, in an effort to promote safety and health of all around us, sometimes we're going to have to make decisions that are altruistic. It's great to know that we are able to be independent thinkers, make decisions that are not necessarily the same decision that everyone else is going to make, and act in a way that not everyone is going to act. That is a true expression and a true reality of freedom. It's something that cannot be overstated. But you have to also consider the fact that maybe a decision you are making in a moment is going to have a negative effect on people that you cannot even begin to know that are going to be after you. If people as a whole just took the concept of thinking things a little bit rationally before they allow that emotion to kind of suppress their concept of rationality, we would be in a lot stronger of a place than we are today. We would be a much more united country, and honestly, we would be handling the COVID-19 pandemic a lot better than we are. The issue is, no matter what opinions you have on the matter, people are scared. And in a time of fear, in a time of general pandemonium where we do not know what's going to happen next, it's easy to kind of let that fear dictate our actions. And in that moment, we're going to try to make any decision we can to make us not be in a state of fear. Right now, we are tasked with a lot of important decisions. We are given the opportunity to voice our opinions and voice our beliefs in a way that we haven't before. The decisions that we make today are truly going to have an impact on how the world is in the future. The way we handle this COVID-19 today has a huge impact. And that cannot be overstated either. We might not live to see the future. We might not live to see all of the effects that today will have on the future, but we know, and we are able to know, that the world is going to change greatly because of it. And our decisions and our kind of emotional response and rational response to these decisions is going to be vital. If I can leave you with anything today, it is not to kind of re-guide your entire life to think of things only rationally, but it's to consider it. When people are open to general consideration, to consider things that they might not totally understand, and might not even totally believe, but they are willing to kind of think outside the box and make decisions outside of the box that might not affect them the way they think it's going to affect them, we are really going to see a lot of changes, and a lot of positive changes at that. The world is a scary place. There's no denying that. But the way we choose to react to that fear and to that scariness is incredibly important and will have a huge impact on us as a nation. With that said, I would like to end today by thanking everyone for watching the video. If you have any opinions or beliefs that you would like to share, please leave them in the comments below. And with that said, have a good day.